Are you going to watch the 2022 NFL Draft live on Chat Sports? I assume you are, and if you're not, let's get that changed. But I want to see who's going to be repping your favorite team in the comments throughout this year's draft with us here at Chat Sports. So type in me right now in the comments section if you're going to join us here at Chat Sports for the entire 2022 NFL Draft. It's time for my final NFL mock draft. In years past, done pretty well. Top 25 nationally around with various draft scoring, mock draft scoring. This year, however, I got nothing. I am as lost as anyone out there with what is actually going to happen. There is uncertainty from pick number 1 all the way down to 32. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen this year. I got if you give me 3 guesses for each pick, I'll probably get them all right. Only give me 1? I don't know if I'm going to get any right. We'll begin with pick number 1, and I want to hear from you first and foremost. I thought a long time ago it was a done deal for Aiden Hutchinson. He was going to be number 1 overall, and his camp thought the exact same thing. Now, I don't know. So who will be that number 1 overall pick? Make your prediction for me in the comments section right now. I'm going to go with Travon Walker. From as near as I understand it, here's where things sit. GM Trent Baalke wants Travon Walker. Doug Peterson wants Ike Ekwonu, but they don't need linemen, so he probably doesn't win out. The owner wants Aiden Hutchinson, but I don't know if the owner's going to flop it on the table and say you're taking my guy or not. The buzz is Walker. I will go Walker, but I am not confident in that at all. This reminds me a lot of the Baker Mayfield draft where we didn't know actually until that late that Wednesday night. Credit to the Jags for not really announcing who it's going to be through leaks or whatnot. I'll go Aiden Hutchinson at number 2. Assuming it's Walker, I think it's Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeaux. I would not rule out Thibodeaux if the Lions don't, if Walker's picked number 1. So I'm going to lean Hutchinson. So my gut tells me keep an eye on Thibodeaux. The Texans at 3, I honestly don't know. Ike Ekwonu, Sauce Gardner, one of the edges, Hutchinson, Thibodeaux, maybe even a Jermaine Johnson is a shocker. A lot of buzz the past couple days on Derek Stingley. That very well might all be smoke, but I'll go Stingley at number 3. At number 4, then, it could be Sauce Gardner. It could be Jermaine Johnson. That's picked up noise as of late. I'll go Ike Ekwonu. I've heard that Joe Douglas really likes Ekwonu. This would cause chaos with what the heck the Jets are going to do with their current situation with Mekhi Becton and George Fant, but they like Ekwonu. If Hutchinson doesn't go 2, I think he's the pick at 4. Evan Neal then at number 5. A lot of whispers that Charles Cross is a favorite of the Giants organization. To be honest, taking him over Evan Neal would be really weird to me. Frankly, I think Evan Neal should be a top 3 pick pretty easily. I'll put him here to the Giants at 5. The Panthers at 6. I'm sticking with my original gut here because they don't have a QB. And Kenny Pickett's got ties to both owner David Tepper, who was a Pitt booster, and he's got ties to Matt Rule, recruited to Temple originally. It is either Pickett or an offensive tackle. Could be Charles Cross, could be the shocker Trevor Penning, Evan Neal, Ekwonu if they're there. I think it's one of those guys unless Carolina can trade down. I think they would love to trade down because they've got no picks. I don't know who wants to move up, though. If it's not Kenny Pickett to Carolina at 6, I think the first QB might wait for a long time. What team do you think will end up taking the first QB in this year's NFL draft? Make your predictions for me right now down in the comment section. Who do you think ends up being the team that takes that QB first and foremost? Sauce Gardner then at number 7. I think he goes 4, 5, or 7. I'll hedge my bet, I guess, by giving him to the Giants, who could take him at 5. I would not be surprised, especially if Ekwonu goes 3, if Gardner goes 4 to the Jets. I think if you can get him over under pick 7, hammer the under on that one. There's Kayvon Thibodeaux at number 8. I think he should go a lot earlier in the draft in the end than what he ended up going. I would be okay with if he goes 2. I doubt the Jets take him. Giants could go 7, but if he falls past 4, I think there's a real chance he goes number 8. I'd also keep an eye out for receivers here. Garrett Wilson is a good name. You guys know the players at this point. I don't need to spend a lot of time on who's Kayvon Thibodeaux. You know who they are. We want to look at the different options for each team. Number 9, Trevor Penning of the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks never do what I think they should do. So let's go outside the box here and see if we can't get the surprising pick. Penning, I think, goes between 9. Keep an eye on him for the Texans at 13 if they want to tackle. Saints, Chargers, 16, 17 also makes sense. Charles Cross, I think, would be a better pick by Seattle, but they never do what I want them to do. So I'm trying to predict that this time around. Jermaine Johnson, number 10. Jets don't go receiver. They've been linked heavily to that. They've also been linked very heavily to Johnson as high as number 4, which I think would be a mistake. But they get trench players and see if they can't maybe swing a trade for Deebo Samuel without giving up that number 10 pick. Maybe they move all their second rounders for him instead. So first receiver finally off the board, Garrett Wilson. I think 8 to Atlanta makes a ton of sense to him. I know the Commanders did a lot of work on Ohio State receivers, so Garrett Wilson makes sense. Don't sleep on Chris Olave here. Jameson Williams, I think less so. The Jets could take him at 10. Keep an eye on that name too. Drake London is in play here as well, as is Kyle Hamilton, who finally goes off the board at number 12. I think they would love Derek Stingley. In the event he's not there, they could go receiver, maybe Jameson Williams, or perhaps they just stand pat and take the best player for me in this year's draft. You will know when we know what actually goes on and what I think is going to be an absolutely chaotic 2022 NFL draft. So, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and tune in. We'll be live well before round 1, all the way through. Draft grades coming up afterward, right here at Chat Sports. Hit that big red button and subscribe. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. The Texans at number 13 here. I almost got creative and went Ike Mekwonu at 3 and Stingley at 13 to kind of hedge my bet and try and get one right, but that felt like cheating too much. I think they want some receiver help. Charles Cross could also be in play here, but I don't love his fit with Laramie Tunsil already there. Let's get them a dynamic vertical threat in Jameson Williams, who I think could go top 10. I love the fit of Jordan Davis here at number 14. If he's not on the board, if one of the edges slides, I think that could be in play. I wouldn't rule out corner either. Drake London to Philadelphia at 15. I love his pairing with Devonta Smith. A lot of whispers of London being a top 10 pick this year, but the math does not add up. There's too many players who could be a top 10 pick. Somebody's got to slide. I went with London at 15 and Charles Cross at 16. What I basically did was I was going to do, if the Panthers went go tackle, I think Pickett at 16 makes sense. Receiver as well for the Saints, which we'll get to in a little bit. I don't know what the Chargers are going to do at number 17 overall. I'll pencil in Zion Johnson, who I think is going to go off the board earlier than what some people realize. And I'll throw in another shocker here. Quay Walker, linebacker. The Eagles don't go linebacker often. I think they have the correct allotment of needs to consider that and go corner in round 2. This is an outside-the-box pick. I know Tom Pelissero said Walker's going to go top 20. That's one of the only spots that can make a look of sense if that's actually the case. Chris Olave here to the Saints. Could be picked at 16 even to jump in front of teams like Philadelphia, L.A. Olave's a speedy, great route runner. He'd be a fantastic fit in the Saints offense. Malik Willis to Pittsburgh. I don't think the Steelers have to move up to acquire Willis in this year's draft. I think he might be there at 20. And I'll spoiler alert myself here. I've got 2 QBs going in round 2, or in round 1. That is it. So I'm going with the under. And right now the betting under is 3.5 QBs taken in round 1. So I'm hammering the under, but I want to hear from you. Over or under 3.5 QBs taken in round 1 this year. It's O for over or U for under. Devin Lloyd, number 21. Thought about Zion Johnson here. Lloyd is a really good fit for what the Patriots like to do on defense at linebacker. Didn't have the best 40-yard dash. He's a good athlete. Heard a lot of buzz this week that Treylon Burks is a big fan. The Packers are a big fan of Treylon Burks in that organization. Does he get there? I'm not so sure, but my God, they need receiver help in the absolute worst way. Trent McDuffie slides down to the Cardinals at 23. They love to take PFF's favorite guys. McDuffie's high with PFF, and they love Washington Husky corners. Or DBs. They've taken Budda Baker, Byron Murphy. I would love McDuffie at 23. Whispers the Cowboys want to move up in this draft. Not entirely sure for who. Maybe Charles Cross or London if they slide down to 15, 16 in this scenario. But I'm going to go Kenyon Green, the offensive guard. If they stand pat, I'm not sure, but I think they like Green over even Zion Johnson. Kaiir Elam is a stud, and he absolutely must go in round 1. The Bills need an outside corner. I think Elam he's my number 4 guy. We will see if the NFL agrees or disagrees. I found room for Jahan Dotson in the first round. Did not find room for Nakobe Dean, by the way, which I think is not what I would do. I think what the NFL ends up doing. Dotson is a really good receiver, inside, outside flex at Penn State. We'll see how the NFL feels about that to an extent. The guards and receivers were gone for Tennessee, not their ideal outcome. Devontae Wyatt does have some off-the-field stuff that has to be vetted. If it does get cleared, Tampa's is such a good fit for him. This is their Ndamukong Suh replacement. George Karlaftis slides, and the Packers snag him at 28 overall. In the event that Burks is off the board, I could see like Karlaftis going 22, and maybe the Packers taking a George Pickens potentially out of Georgia to help fill out the back end of that wide receiver class for Green Bay. I want you guys to name a surprise first round pick, guy that most people don't expect to go in round 1 this year. Drop that name or names for me in the comments right now. Arnold Ebiketie, KC goes edge from Penn State, and then they go Dax Hill, safety from Michigan. They could go receiver here, go pure corner. They need defensive help, and there is a non-zero chance they move up. For example, if Williams and London slide, I could see the Chiefs getting aggressive. The Bengals at 31, not Tyler Linderbaum. I didn't find room for him. He should go round 1. I think this is going to be a weird draft, and Linderbaum suffers because of it. I think the Bengals are their preferred options would be Booth, then maybe Kaiir Elam, then Linderbaum, then maybe Kyler Gordon if the board's kind of picked over of those 3 guys. And it's kind of what Dave Lapham, the Bengals color guy, said, and he doesn't miss very often on those. Finally, Lewis Cine, the safety out of Georgia. I sneak one more Georgia player in there. Yes, they added Deshaun Elliott. They should not be done at that position. So Cine sneaks in over guys like Sky Moore, over Linderbaum, over Nakobe Dean, who could also be a very real pick for the Lions. I would not be surprised if it's a Georgia player at the back end of round 1 for Detroit. I have no idea how many picks I get right. I have absolutely no clue. I am more lost than ever, and I think that's true for most of the people who do mock drafts. So I want to hear from you guys, those of you got all the way through. How many picks think I got right in my final NFL mock draft?